Juneteenth. Now, I did make a separate video about Juneteenth. This is the flag. You know, I see a lot of red, black, and green, but this is the correct flag. Now, I see certain companies trying to sell folks stuff about Juneteenth. Don't buy from them. Buy from black people who are making black products, okay? If you need help finding one, let me know, because I know people who make things. Buy black. You want to help on Juneteenth, celebrate Juneteenth, buy black on Juneteenth. Either something that's made, a black business, patronize it, a black product, go to a black restaurant, okay? Give some Cash App to your black friends, something, okay? You can't do nothing else. So I'm going to put my video about Juneteenth, where I really went into detail about how it came about from my perspective, because I am a native Texan. I was also a Texas history teacher. Also, my whole family has been celebrating Juneteenth all my whole life. Okay? Houston has a rich history in celebrating Juneteenth. We have a park here called Emancipation Park. Freedmen ministers pulled their money together and bought a parcel of land. The place where the slaves in Houston were told that they were free. They purchased that land and called it Emancipation Park. Okay? I'm putting my video in here. I also talk about the path to it becoming a federal holiday, because actually the Juneteenth movement actually started in 1994. But a lot of people were like, well, oh, they gave us this day. No, it wasn't like they just gave us this day. This has been in the works for decades. It's just that this was the time was right for actually it getting done. Okay? And so I want to mention a couple, and this is, by the way, is the official Juneteenth flag. The reason why there's a star is because the Lone Star State, Texas were the last ones to know, my ancestors were the last ones to know that they were free. Okay. I want to say a couple of things about Juneteenth as a holiday. And I mentioned this before in my video, but I'm going to reiterate it. Thank you for coming on in. Please hit the like button. Hey, Daryl. Like I said, General Gordon, Union General Major General Gordon Granger came to Texas June 19, 1865, lands in Galveston. Okay? Reads an edict that says he is there to enforce the Emancipation Proclamation, which basically said all the slaves in the states that are in rebellion, that means the Confederacy, are hitherto free. The rest of everyone found out January 1st, 1863. However, in some other cases, some slaves imparted in the Confederacy got free. Either one, the slaves ran away in the process. They're like, hey, the people in the blue are fighting the people in the gray who enslaved us. I'm gonna go where the people in the blue are. They ran to the blue side. They ran to the north. They ran to places because they know there's no one here to enforce them being a slave. There were generals who set slaves free once they got to an area. And there are other junior officers who returned slaves to their masters. But quite a number of them set slaves free. There are abolitionists in the Republican Party who was really pushing Lincoln, like, hey, set the slaves free. And he was like, hey, I'm going to do that, but that's not a priority. But I'm waiting till a Union victory, because then people will be in a good mood. And then when I issue it, it'll be great. By the way, the Manifestation Proclamation, you gotta really think about it as a military order. And think about it like this. If the United States is fighting against the Confederacy, and the Confederacy's total lifestyle is dependent on slavery, in the first sentence of the Confederate States of America Declaration of Independence mentions preserving slavery. how can I undermine the Confederacy and defeat them? Yes, I have more people than them. I have more resources than them. I have better weapons. Don't necessarily have the best generals. But what other way can I undermine them and them not be able to get relief or help? Okay, because some of the soldiers are getting relief and help from plantation owners. The Confederacy is actually passing laws telling slave owners, like, hey, we need your slaves, labor. You're going to have to give us some of them. So what Lincoln does after he listens to all of, hey, Empire Esquire TV, y'all really need to check out her channel. Did you know? Oh yeah, by the way, R. Kelly got a new lawyer today. Are there from Diva to Divine Light? She examines, looks at court cases. Y'all need to really check her out. So he listens to Secretary of War, the Secretary of State. He listens to all his cabinet, who are, by the way, different people on the spectrum in his party. That's one good thing about Lincoln. And also George Washington, too. They had people, smart men around them, different ideas. He listened and then made some decision. So he makes a decision like, okay, and also he's meeting with, Frederick Douglass, he's meeting with abolitionists, and stuff like that. He decides to write the Emancipation Proclamation, which basically turns the war from one of, hey, I'm preserving the Union, keeping it intact, to, hey, I'm preserving the Union and I'm abolishing slavery. Okay? But like I said, a lot of people want to think of Emancipation Proclamation, it's a very liberal, very, progressive document. But you also need to think about it as a military decree, a military order. I'm going to undermine my enemy's source of, income, source of dependency on their economy, their way of life, and I hear that they are using the slaves as either labor out there in, with the Confederacy. How can I stop that from happening? Oh, I'll free their slaves. Then I'll tell all the generals when they go to the South that from now on, any slaves that they see, they have to set them free. So now, what's the whole point of the South fighting if Lincoln freed all my slaves? Or they run to the Union side. Or some slaves basically become spies. They go to Confederate sides. They hear everything, pretend that they're working, and then at night go tell the Union what happened. It's undermining your economy. And the same thing, and I'm sorry, I kind of like military history. I did take a really good course in there. But I hate what one of the generals that Lincoln actually officially gives. When did you made a question. When did Union states have to emancipate? Okay, good question. They didn't emancipate any slaves until the passage of the 13th Amendment. If you were in the Union, your slaves stayed slaves. There are only 4 slave states in the Union. Lincoln allowed them to keep their slaves because he wanted their loyalty. And also, those 4 states, their economy was tied to the North more than it was the South. Also, if any of those 4 states, which also included Maryland, were to go to the Confederacy, Washington, D.C. would be in the middle of that, and they would have been trapped. So, like I said, Lincoln is listening to all sides, but the decisions he's making, there's a reason why he's making it. Because some of the abolitionists were not happy with, he's going to leave 4 slave states, let them keep their slaves, because you can't have Washington, D.C. around it. Okay? Let me see. Is that what? But that might have been his justification. Yeah, allegedly, yeah. And by the way, I know people say this or not. Lincoln had racist or prejudiced tendencies against Black people, but he didn't like slavery. But his reason for slavery was he did see, some signs like, oh, this is really cruel. But for most part, he felt like, oh, it's outdated. We wasn't a nation and we don't need to have slavery. And he was actually perfectly fine with keeping slavery where it was. But he just didn't want it to expand. And for Southerners, they hate that. They always wanted to expand slavery. So if you say either abolish or keep us where we are, the South would have been eventually isolated from the rest of the country. Because you would have had, 14, 15 states that were slave and the rest of the country free. They would be outnumbered numerically in the House, and they will always be able to get a president now without the South. That's also why they succeeded, because of Lincoln, because they were scared. If you look at the first 5, if you look at all the presidents before Lincoln, a majority of them were slave owners. Yeah, I actually had a white teacher tell me that. He was like, "Oh yeah, Harriet Beecher Stowe was a racist," and I was like, "What the hell?" I think I had someone else said it too. Said, "Oh yeah, I can tell you." But then when I heard some similar things from a Black professor, I was like, never did notice that. Now she was like true abolition. She was from an abolitionist family, reform and everything, and she wanted slavery to stop. But she did have some very prejudiced ideas. If you look at the fact that there is a character named Sambo and Quimbo in her book, I mean, just go read them characters, and we come back and talk. But also, I think a lot of people also look at her book, were upset about her book, because it was like it really depicted slavery in a very unhospitable light. And actually, her book got banned. They had book burnings. They passed a law saying any slave found her book would get lashed. But if most slaves can't read already, then why are y'all? But they even tried to melt their books down south, but the Postmaster General was a Southerner, so he wouldn't allow it. Yeah. Okay. So getting back to what I said about Emancipation Proclamation. Oh, by the way, there were places in Louisiana, some Louisiana parishes in West Virginia, I think want to say Florida, that had slaves too. But the Union officers there, like, I guess, sent word back to Lincoln, like, hey, we've worked with the locals and they said they will remain loyal, but can they keep their slaves? And so, like, they were able to keep their slaves. But the majority of the South, who was in the Emancipation Proclamation, they slaves got set free. At the Battle of Vicksburg, Union victory, the Confederacy split in half. So Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana doesn't hear about the Emancipation Proclamation. Plus, the South is behind industrially. There are not enough telegraphs. The only reason the telegraph and also railroads come to the South is because the Union armies brought them with them. So, also, there are Southerners who are leaving the other parts of the South because they know that their slaves are going to be set free. They head to Texas, which is the farthest western place. So when Gordon Granger arrives in June 1865, Lincoln is assassinated. President Johnson's new president. The passage of the 13th Amendment has been passed. But Texas slaves do not know, and probably a lot of white planters did not know. Well, one, the war is over, and two, the slaves were free. So there was also actually one lasting battle of the Confederacy that happened June 13th at Palmetto Ranch in the southern part of Texas, and the Confederacy actually won, but it didn't mean anything because the war was over. the Union prisoner of war had to tell him like, hey, the war is over, release from the grant. Lincoln got assassinated. Johnson is the new president. President Johnson is the new president. That's not my slavery, by the way. Last battle of the Civil War, Texas. Last slaves we set free, Texas. Okay? Now, yeah, it is. They were behind industrially, and they reinforced that with their sons to only become either lawyers, politicians, or planners. They voted planners into office. They voted against things that would have industrialized the South, and it ended up biting them in the butt. If you're a cash crop society, only dependent on cash crops, you got to send your crops to somewhere else to get manufactured. That, yeah. And especially when Egyptian cotton became popular and Southern cotton prices went down. Oh, hell. They was, Hey, Nikki Proctor Walden. All right. So, like I said, Granger lands in Galveston. He issues the edict, or he issues the order. Like, hey, Then he moves from Galveston, he moves to Houston, and he reads it that way. It takes some time to get everywhere. And then plus, some Southerners, planners, wanted the slaves to finish doing the work before they got set free. Because some were like, oh, okay, we set free, we gone. So it wasn't like, for the most part, I guess you said the earliest ones who heard it probably picked up and moved a lot quicker, but in some other cases, they were like forced to do the work before they left, or you can stay and get wages. So, like I said, in Houston, the Freedmen is a part of Houston called Freedmen's Town, is where they moved to or stayed. And then from Freedmen's Town, the ministers, which one of them is Jack Yates, which is the school named after him, and the other ministers pulled their money together and bought some property. And that was where their ancestors were read the military order from General Gordon Granger when he arrived in Houston. And they named that place Emancipation Park. It's still in its existence. So when people like me who are from Houston or from Galveston or from Texas, and we're hearing like, oh, Juneteenth is made a holiday, we're like, oh, okay. The rest of the country is caught up with us, right? And they're like, great. But other places didn't celebrate it because it's not in their history book like it is in ours. Okay? It's not a state-paid holiday like it's in ours. Like a lot of people from Louisiana, when they came here and they were like, oh, Juneteenth, they were like, what's that? But there are people, if they're from here and they go somewhere else, who still celebrate it either as a family tradition or because there are other Texans or Houstonians or they know about it and they're more into African-American history, they celebrate as a community. Because like San Francisco had a celebration, Philadelphia had a celebration, Atlanta had a celebration. Some of those celebrations are going to happen without Juneteenth becoming a holiday. I didn't have no clue Juneteenth was like even on the schedule because I was just like, when I heard it that last week, I was like, whoa, really? So I thought it was going to take like a couple of, whatever. Then Thursday, they were like, oh, President Biden signed it. And I was like, damn. And then everyone was like, some people were happy, and there were other people were like, well, why do we have this as a holiday? We wanted the George Floyd Police Reform Act. And then some people were putting this up. Where is it? And I have to say, criticism of this becoming a holiday versus George Floyd Police Reform Act, I totally agree with your assessment on that, and I totally understand. But at the same time, as we know, I gave the last video, is that if you're not a person who celebrates Juneteenth, maybe you would feel more like that, or you feel like, oh, those are just some crumbs, or the fact if you don't know the history behind it, and that's the whole point I made in my last video. There's been a Juneteenth movement since 1994. Miss Opal Lee from Fort Worth, Texas, has been doing walks. She's 94 since she was 89, trying to get Juneteenth a federal holiday. You know we wasn't gonna get it the last 4 years. You know that because she started in 2016. Ben Hayes has a whole website. He was devoted to the National Juneteenth organization. So there are people who have been doing the lobbying, talking to Congress people. There are people behind the scenes. And so when you say, oh, they gave us this holiday, it takes away the agency and the hard work of those people who actually were putting in work. Okay? However, if there are people who are willing to vote for this holiday and not for Juneteenth police reform, it does make you wonder. Like, dang, another holiday? Okay. So this is gonna stop us from wanting to do. No, we can have both. I'm gonna show you how we can have both. Okay. And so when I saw this on Facebook and Instagram, it made me mad because I know for me how Juneteenth, my family celebrates it, my city celebrates it, my state celebrates it, and that it's national. It's like, oh damn, is that what they really think? Or maybe it was meant to make me angry to spark a discussion. Because yeah, we do want a hate crime bill. We want to stop social injustice. We want to stop poverty. We want to stop voter suppression. We want to stop systematic equality. But no, you gave us this instead. But like I said, I don't want to say like, oh, you gave us this when there were people working on it for it to happen. And so that's why I say you're upset about Juneteenth being a holiday. You want the George Floyd Police Reform Act. Hey, Black Anonymous, I want to show you how you can use Juneteenth to make people in Congress accountable. So we can have the George Floyd Police Reform Act in addition to having Juneteenth. Because hell, we can have both, as far as I'm concerned. All right, so I'm going to show you what to do. Pay attention. Hold on. Cancel that. Right. All right. I'm going to share with you. This is what you can do. Okay. All right. I'm going to put the... Right. All right, so I'm putting into the chat. It's called Find a Representative. This is a organization. GovTrack.us Congress members. So you're probably saying, well, I don't know what Congress members represent me, so I can, because First Amendment, you have the right to petition your government, which means you can email, call, visit, tweet, Instagram, and Facebook your representative, and you can ask them questions to make them more accountable for what's going on. Okay? Now, before I get to that, I want to show you something. I'm probably going to do another live about Juneteenth because I found out there were 14 people who voted against the Juneteenth bill. Two of them from Texas. I feel like they need to turn in their Texas card. That's great, Black Anonymous. Yes. Okay. These 14 individuals voted against the Juneteenth bill. All right. This is just I think this is the representative. There's also another senator named Senator Johnson who voted against the Juneteenth bill too. And guess what? I don't know who it was. Invited him to a Juneteenth event and his ass got booed. He deserved it. Boo! Okay? So it said, oh, we don't need another paid holiday. It's going to cost this much. Or, oh, we don't, whatever they said, Republicans. Y'all supposed to be part of Lincoln. Damn. But y'all voted against it. So look up there to see if one of them belongs to you, because you need to tweet them too. What I'm going to show you is how to tweet the people who voted for it, who happen to be your representative, or if they were not, or if they are your representative, they didn't vote for it, you can still question them about it. Okay? Also, I found out some Black folks who were against it, but they were Black people who are not pro-Black. So I just got, like Candace Owens, Brandon Tatum, those type of people. All right. So just wanted to try to memorize the names. Okay. So, yay, Black Anonymous. Yay. I know mine too. Great. We got to get some more people on here, though. Yes. You are right. It is more of a priority. But guess what? The Juneteenth bill was introduced back in September. Who was president back in September? So it didn't go nowhere. It got reintroduced, I believe, February. Who's president now in February? Just saying. The George Floyd Police Reform Bill Act got introduced into the House and voted on majority. It got sent to the Senate, who we are still waiting on, unfortunately. So we got to get their asses together. All right. So this is the act. Please bookmark it. So on this page, let me see if I can make it bigger. Okay. All right. So you can see the whole thing. You can put your address or you can put your state and it will list your rep. So using my setting example, these are the 2 U.S. senators. Okay. It has when they came into office, when the next election is. Oh, really? I remember that. Okay. So, I thought it was one where you can okay. Oh, there's a thing right here. You can list all members of Congress, or you can search former members of Congress. Let's just say, because I don't want to put my address in there because people, looking for me. I like the dots around here. You can put in your hold on. I want to say, wait, let me stop. I'm going to put in my address now. It's not going to show you that I'm doing it. And then when it pops back up, you'll see who all my representatives are. Okay. All right. Y'all see that? Okay. So I put in my address, and what it does, it pops up who my representatives are. It tells me who my 2 U.S. senators are. It has a map of where I live. Okay. It also has my representative, Representative Al Green, from the side of town that I live on. Okay. The other side of town is Sheila Jackson Lee. He has an official website. He has a phone number. So that means I can also tweet him, Instagram him, and everything. All right? Senator Cruz, as well. Now, I want to show you something. Hold on. If you click on, for example, I'm going to click on where it says official website of John Cornyn. By the way, John Cornyn was the one that introduced the Juneteenth bill in the Senate, which was surprising to my ass. I was like, really, John? Okay. But he is damn border, get on my damn nerves. Okay. So this is John. I clicked on John's website, and it has on here his about, his issue, his new, and it has this thing called contact. Okay. He has his office in DC, his other offices in the state of Texas, discussing issues, help with a federal agency, request the flag. Okay. Does contact Senator Cornyn. I'm actually, one time I did petition him, and so now I get, emails and stuff from him. Even though I don't like him, but I just want to know what the fuck he's doing, All right. So right here, he also has Facebook, Flickr, Instagram, and YouTube. Okay. But I know John is on Twitter, right? Because I've seen him on there. Because I follow him. I want to know what the hell he's doing. Okay. So you can contact him with the same, and your representative will have a similar format. Okay. They always have the office in Washington, D.C., their office in the state or your community, a way to contact them. You can actually request to meet with them when they're in town. Okay. Here you got discussion issue. Then they discuss an issue depending on what you want it to be on. Now, when you do this one, I will say it will take you a while to get a response back. You might get a response like, oh, I thank you for sending an email to John Cornyn. We'll get back with you momentarily. If you want a much more immediate response, this is what I have done. I'm going to show you what I do. And I would suggest you do this as well. Let me see. We go here. What the heck is saying here on my thing? What? Dang it. I know what my password is. And I gotta text it to myself. The code. Oh, Lord. Sorry, y'all. When it does that. I know I didn't change it. I don't think I changed it. Freaking passwords. Okay, continue to switch. Okay. All right. So thank you, Black Anonymous, for sharing my video from last night. Appreciate that. Okay. So here we go with share. Now you're probably saying, let me see the transcript. I don't know about no Twitter. Whatever makes you comfortable to do. You want to do the form letter from their website. If you want to send them something on Facebook, you want to send them a message on Instagram, Heck, you want to call the office and say, I want to schedule a meeting. Do it. Okay? Do it. Hell, people the other day was trying to do something for climate change. They went to Senator Ted Cruz's house and had to sit there on his lawn. They went to jail, but they out now. They good. They did it to make a point. Right? So here, you see my Twitter that I'm on. So I'm going to search for Senator John Cornyn. Hold on. Okay. So everything comes up Senator John Cornyn, but I know I'm following him. I'm going to click on his name. Guess what? So I'm going to show you what I did because I want to lead by example. John tweeted about the Juneteenth bill becoming law. Dang it. Where is it? Okay, I keep going. And 20th. Okay, so this is where he was. Oh, this is it. So look at John. Since 156 years ago, Major General Granger was here at the former Osterman building in Galveston and read General Order 3, which announced to Texans that all slaves were free and declared absolute equality. The title for this beautiful mural. Oh yeah, by the way, if you ever go to Galveston, they just built this really beautiful mural there. It was so great. You know what I'm saying? Proud to be a part of this. It's dedication. Nice. What up? Opportunity. So I clicked on John, tweet, and here I go. I said, as a native Texan and a history teacher, thank you so much for introducing the Juneteenth National Act in the U.S. Senate and thereby helping Juneteenth become a federal holiday. But I wanted to ask, what are you doing to also get the George Floyd Police Act passed too? Ladies and gentlemen, this is how we can use Juneteenth to make these people more accountable. We can just sit here and complain. We can do memes. We can have discussions. But the people in power who are voting for these bills, we need to put pressure on them now. Hey, you passed Juneteenth. That's great. What about this George Floyd police reform bill? That's what I need to get done next. And you might think, oh, he gets lots of tweets. No one may see it. But guess what? The other people who saw this, who came here, saw my damn question, and he didn't delete it. It's still there. Does this mean that I stopped tweeting John about this? No, I'm going to tweet him again. But if I get a whole bunch of other Texans to do it, and if I can get the rest of you to contact your congressman and ask them the same question. If they voted for, if your person, when you look them up, voted for the Juneteenth bill, this is the question you need to ask them. Thank you so much for voting for the Juneteenth bill and making Juneteenth become a federal holiday. But can you tell me how you're going to vote on the George Floyd Police Act? Because right now it's the senators who have not voted for it. The Congress has already passed their part of the bill. They had a majority for it. Do y'all understand? We definitely have a reason to criticize that the Juneteenth bill was passed before the George Floyd Act. But now that the Juneteenth is here, what are we gonna do? You just gonna sit here? Or are we gonna do something about it? Get your Twitter fingers, your Facebook fingers, and your Instagram fingers, and email fingers, and email these people in office. Hell, call them up. Here's the website again. For you to find your representative. Find your senator and say, hey, thanks for voting for this Juneteenth bill. How are you going to vote on the George Floyd police reform bill? And then maybe you need to ask them, well, I'm going to remember this in 2024. I'm going to remember this in 2026 when you're up for re-election. Hello? Come on now. Come on. Do you hear me in the back? Do you hear what I'm saying? Do you understand? Okay. Yeah. I know it sounded preacherish, but I'm just trying to get you there. Are we just gonna complain that they gave us something, or are we gonna do something that we're demanding to have happen? We're just gonna sit back and complain again. I'm saying. Think about it, marinate on it. Matter of fact, I need to teach Ted Cruz too. Need to see how many senators vote against this bill too, and for it. So, thank you. We should all subscribe to Be Black Anonymous. Yes. Gotta stick it to the man. We want the George Floyd Police Reform Act now. If not 2024, 2026, we finna get somebody new. Okay? We finna get somebody new. Now, Darren Moore, are you still here? Because I wanted to ask you if you wouldn't mind coming up, because Hey, everybody. This is Let Me See Your Transcript, your very favorite history teacher. I'm going to stop right there. We're going to have part 2. This is my live from last year. I put it up again because I was like, hey, really great. Sorry, drinking. I should do coffee, but I'm drinking Coke Zero. All right, sorry. Thank you, Black Anonymous, for putting this in the chat. And I wanted to just basically re-air my previous live from last year where I talked about Juneteenth and what it means, and go over the historical significance of reminding these senators and these U.S. representatives, like, hey, you made this a federal holiday last year. That's great. But what about the George Floyd Policing and Reform Act? The John Lewis Voting Rights Act was passed this past year. That's good, but we can do better. And right now with, we still have had more police shootings of unarmed Black people. We've also had school shootings, mass shootings. So we definitely can use today, like, hey, I'm glad you voted for this holiday. But what have you done about these other things? I know in the video I said 2024 and 2026, but guess what? It's 2022. This is also an election year. And 1/3 of Congress is up for re-election during these midterms. So we definitely need to make these individuals accountable. And that's why I also wanted to show the video, like, hey, we can tweet them, Instagram them, Facebook them, email them, not only petition them. There are other ways to let them know what you're thinking, how you're going to vote. And actually, I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to leave you with this, and then I'm gonna go. I'll come back on later when I talk about Father's Day. And happy Father's Day to all the fathers, the grandfathers, the uncles, the male cousins, the brothers, the male teachers, the males in your life who were father figures. Thank you so much. Happy Father's Day to you. Happy Father's Day to the fathers that are no longer here. Please check on the people whose fathers are no longer with them today. Maybe they've been a little sensitive today, triggering. Also, check on the fathers who lost children. Today is probably a very sensitive day for them as well. Okay. And happy Father's Day to KKC, Lennon Honor, Humble King, Corey Slater. Who are the other fathers in the sector that I can think of? Nick Keeping It Playing, DJ Drama. Are they fathers? I think they're fathers. Okay. And but my video that I'm gonna this is what I wanted to say. I try to follow a lot of different YouTubers. I watch their videos, I might share their videos. But I was really like last year, I was really upset with that whole, video where people said, oh, they gave us this holiday. And that's why I had, came on this whole discussion. But today I saw it was Pan-African Strikes Back. And I follow him. I watch his videos. Sometimes I agree with him, sometimes I don't. But today, his title of his video, I don't know if it was just clickbaitish or to spark a discussion, but it was like Juneteenth is a minstrel show. And I just was like, fix it, Jesus. I don't know. I gonna have to maybe be in a space later on to go watch it. I don't know if I have it in I don't know if I have it in me. I saw another video today. Umar Johnson was talking about Juneteenth, and then some of his history was kind of off, but then he got right about some of the history. Then he started talking about the FDMG date again, and I just like, you know what? I can't today. Why are you not talking about your? It's Father's Day. Shouldn't you be talking about father stuff? But anyway, I'm just like, So okay, that's what's my spiel. It's like I had to let that out. I'm doing self-care. I can't hold it in. I gotta let it out. But I don't know. Maybe one of y'all can go look over there and tell me if it's okay for me to go watch it, or just I shouldn't. You're welcome, Uwakata. I try. Oh, in Jesus' name. Well, Ted Cruz it's not his time yet because he was reelected last in 2020. But she said this is his last term, but I don't know. Was it Ted Cruz last time or was it John Cornyn? Might have been John Cornyn. I think in 2024, Ted. I don't know. It's not. He's not up for this year. Both of them are not up for this year. Because I checked. It's but yeah, I'm ready for Governor Abbott to go. I'm ready for him to go. So, but I hope you all have a very good rest of your Juneteenth, a rest of your Father's Day. Okay, and I will have another video about 7 p.m. Eastern. I'm sorry, single mothers. Sorry, mothers. We're going to talk about it. It's a re-airing of a video, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about it too, because I saw some other memes. Okay. The question is, should single mothers be celebrated on Father's Day? And I happen to be one of those individuals who say no. Yes, I'm a Black feminist. I'm not about having equal rights. But guess what? Equal rights is not just for women, it's for men too. So, y'all had Mother's Day. It should be Mother's Day. Single, married, widow, living, or deceased. Mother's Day. Today is Father's Day. All right. Oh, that's what Pan African Strike Back. That was a video. He was like, Juneteenth is a minstrel show that takes away from Father's Day. And I was like, what? I said, excuse me? So yeah, y'all, can one of y'all go peek over there and tell me if it's safe to watch, or maybe he did, maybe he did to spark a discussion. I don't know. Just, yeah. Also go check out Taz Exclusives. He's highlighting Miss Opal Lee, who I mentioned earlier in the video, who has been also instrumental in getting Juneteenth become a federal holiday. Okay, so I think KKC is coming on later. I think E&J is coming on right now, so I might see some of y'all over there in that chat. Also, I'm going to go do self-care today with my bestie, and I'll tell y'all more about that later on. What else? Check out if there are any, Father's Day activities you can do with your Father's Day. Check out for any Juneteenth activities you can go to as well. Also, there is a film. I'm going to put it in the chat. Did y'all know that there was a movie called Miss Juneteenth? I'm trying to figure out, should I don't know. Let me know in the comments if y'all want to do like if y'all want to do if y'all want to do, it came out like 2 years ago. I didn't even know. I'm going to put the link in the chat. So that might be something y'all interested in doing. But I was thinking about like doing like a live reaction while I'm watching it. Yes, I'm one of those people who talk on movies. But yeah, this is a movie, and it's starring the lady who was in I can't think of her name. She played Mrs. Jackie Robinson in the 42 movie. She also was in a show on, was it CW or Fox? I can't think of her name. Oh, she was also in American Violet, which is a really great movie too. But just letting y'all know, there's some other things. I know Houston had like a Juneteenth pageant. There was parades yesterday. There was parades today. Like I said, when I'm from Texas, we do it big. Acres Home had a parade. It was parade yesterday. Today is a parade downtown. Galveston had their parade yesterday. Missouri City's having a parade, I think, today. Bryan College Station's having a parade and a blues festival. So I wish I was down there, but it's so hot. Y'all be safe. It's 99 degrees here in Houston today. Tomorrow supposed to be 100. So check on your people. I'm right now all about, Jesus, can you be an AC? Can you be a cool drink of water? Because it's hot out here. So, okay. All right, I'm going to get off here. Boys, eating this food, being good, and I need to get ready to do some other things. So I will talk to y'all later. Okay. Told my husband my present to him will remind him became a dead. He's cool with that. Oh, Miss Samba Queen. Are you sure Samba Queen can I mean, if he's cool with that, yeah, but if you gave him a little extra, his favorite meal, favorite movie, but hey, you married, so you know what you're doing, okay? Tell him happy Father's Day. Tell him happy Father's Day, okay? All right, okay. Talk to y'all later. Bye. Thank you for watching. Like, share, subscribe. Bye.